The TV show we analyzed was The Office Season 5, Episode 11, Moroccan Christmas. We decided to analyze this particular film because although exaggerated, it parallels the realities of difficult situations one may face in an office workplace. We believe it is a worthy TV show to analyze because of it taking place in a difficult workplace setting. It's easy to relate the communications theories to. The theory we are presenting is Chapter 5's concept of dealing with difficult people and situations, while examining the three aspects of incivility, workplace bullying, and strategies for dealing with these difficulties. These main ideas are important features of the theory because even though they vary in degree of unprofessionalism, when built on one another, they develop a hostile and unproductive environment, but they also offer a solution to the problem. Incivility is our first focus because although it can be viewed as mild or unintentional, it is still violating the standards of the workplace conduct. This is an appropriate theory to choose for this film because it is evident throughout the episode that the character Dwight is consistently undermined by his coworkers when they play jokes on him. As Chapter 5 recognizes, what counts as uncivil communication can depend more on the receiver's reaction than the sender's intentions. Although Dwight's coworkers think they are just having fun, Dwight takes the incidences seriously and offensively.
The second focus we are taking is workplace bullying. It takes incivility one step further and can result in a more severe form of abuse if steps to resolve the issue are not taken early. We take a deeper look into this topic with the forms of aggression and criticism. These common forms of bullying cause conflict in the workplace. The theory of workplace bullying is a strong choice for this TV episode because the setting is in the office of Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and the episode exemplifies the verbal bullying of Angela by Phyllis, who uses threats to control Angela. The third and final strategy we are focusing on is a solution to the difficulties we presented, specifically being reframe your thinking. This theory is an appropriate choice for this show because the victim of the bullying, Angela, is bullied into setting up everything for the party, but takes control of the situation when she reframes her thinking by realizing that she didn't deserve the abuse she was receiving, which enabled her to no longer feel like a victim and stand up for herself.
According to Anderson and Pearson, incivility is the exchange of seemingly inconsequential, inconsiderate words and deeds that violate the conventional standards of workplace conduct. In the beginning of the episode, Jim was incivil to Dwight by wrapping his desk with wrapping paper. An office needs some small humor to add some fun in a boring workplace, but what Jim did was far away from just interesting or a joke. It is disrespectful. His behavior was supposed to be counted as incivility. Before talking about friendship, they are co-workers at the first place. In the workplace, the very first thing is to create a respectful communication climate so that everyone in the office can really do his work. Even this thing happened on Christmas Day. Such a heavy joke was not seen to be very appropriate. Another thing that needed to be mentioned is that before Dwight sitting on a paper chair and falling down, he and Jim sneering each other for a second.
What is this?
Happy holidays, Dwight. But do not open it till Christmas.
You were so pathetic. How long did this take you? 3 hours?
5 minutes, actually. I am a black belt in gift wrapping.
Yeah, no such thing. They don't give out black belts for things that are stupid. Pfft. Well, I hope it was worth it, because I'm going to take it apart in about 5 minutes.
I think it'll take you a little bit longer than that.
Really? If I can skin a mule deer in less than 10 minutes, I ought to be able to cut my way.
Everything indicates that this kind of incivility is a normal thing in the office. Dwight seems to get used to Jim's impoliteness and even had a conversation about it is not worth your time because he can take it apart in 5 minutes. Artwork, especially TV show, love to overstate to make the story dramatic and more entertaining. However, even these people think it is okay in a film doesn't mean that we should follow them to act like that and hoping we can get friends who can make jokes on each other and still be fine. At the same time, it takes the responsibility of letting people rethink how they behave in daily life. Social work in the office is never an easy class. It is a science that everyone should spend time on. Showing respect to the coworkers can keep a good atmosphere among people, enhance the communication and relationship, and thus improve everyone's cooperation. When incivility becomes a normal thing or a potential company culture, it is not going to help with the cooperation or the efficiency of the group. More importantly, when it starts and does not get any disagreement from the receiver, the target, or the people watching it happen but they don't speak out to stop this, the offender will never realize they are being inappropriate and never stop doing it. Things might even get worse when the jokes is getting bigger and bigger. At this time, even there is disagreement that people think this is too over to make in an office. Failing to do so first time it happened makes justice in an embarrassing place. Nobody said anything before. Why you are being so chill now? The incivility in the workplace is never humor. Inappropriate behavior is supposed to be controlled when it first happens. Respect is always the first thing of any healthy communication and relationship, and should be insisted nicely in even in a holiday.
Not like the incivility. Bullying is usually more intense, malicious, and intentional. This happened between Angela and Phyllis several times. Obviously, Phyllis is applying the bullying. Angela is her target. There are three types of bullying from Phyllis to Angela. First, Phyllis roughly threw Angela's dolls to her jaw.
Angela, you're gonna move this for the party, right? It's not on theme.
It's the nativity scene.
All right. You can keep your camel, sheep, elephant, and the North African king can stay. Everything else goes in the drawer.
I am not going to judge Phyllis for desecrating Christmas. There is one person who will, though, and Phyllis just stuffed him into a drawer.
I need you to get rid of the tree.
But
Thank you. Oh, I don't think it's blackmail. Angela just does what I ask her to do, so I won't tell everyone that she's cheating on Andy with Dwight.
According to the book, aggression is controlling through fear and intimidation. Throwing objects is an example of aggression in workplace. Through the expression of Angela, you can see that she is started to be disgusted with Phyllis. Then Phyllis told Angela to get rid of her tree. Angela was about to say something while Phyllis did not even give her a chance to say it. She just said thank you. It's more like a kind of violation in language, but she chose to tolerate that since Phyllis is her superior and she knows some secrets of her. The second time happened in kitchen when Angela are cutting some foods. Angela asked Phyllis to show mercy on holiday and do not let her do those things. But Phyllis told her it's her job.
please stop making me do these things.
Oh, sorry, it's your job.
But it's the season of mercy.
You never showed me mercy when you were in charge.
We can draw a conclusion from this conversation. Phyllis is bullying Angela by criticism. In the textbook, criticism is defined as nitpicking that destroys the target's confidence and competence by making unreasonable demands of work, such as impossible deadlines and the expectation of perfection. In this case, we could draw a conclusion that Phyllis is asking Angela to work a large amount of work. From the reaction of Angela, we can tell that she is trying to resist. She told a lie that she lost her hairnet when Phyllis asking her to wear it, but eventually Phyllis found that she is hiding her hairnet. Angela tried to resist, but Phyllis is her superior with more power.
Why aren't you wearing the hairnet?
I lost it.
In the third time, Phyllis still asked her to do something and criticized her, However, this time Angela firmly refused her order and tells Phyllis that she is not afraid of her. She used a direct way to fight against Phyllis, but it caused serious results.
I need you to put the Christmas tree back up.
It's outside.
I didn't ask you where it was. I told you where it needs to be.
Shut up.
Excuse me.
I'm not moving the tree. Face it. The only power you have over me is this little secret that I know you're not going to tell. Oh, and you want to know how I know that? Because then you won't be able to plan your stupid, tacky parties anymore. So you move the tree.
Okay. Angela's having sex with Dwight.
The third theory we found in Strategies with Dealing with Difficult People that can be related to our film is found under the principle of strategies for dealing with incivility and bullying, and is reframing your thinking. Reframing your thinking is a process of coming to an understanding that any form of incivility or bullying, no matter the circumstance, is not acceptable. The first example of this occurring is when Phyllis tells Angela to fan out hummus and napkins for the party, and when Angela asks if Phyllis can do it, she is interrupted mid-sentence and told to hurry with the task.
We're going to be here for a while, so why don't you make a little plate of hummus for everyone? Little triangles of pita, toasted on both sides, fanned so you can easily grab them.
I know.
And napkins, fanned.
Okay.
This scene applies to the first step of reframing your thinking because it shows Anderson and Pearson's thought that it's easy to start believing somehow you deserve the abuse. When Angela is interrupted, she accepts it and looks at the floor as if she felt that Phyllis was right to demean her. This process is progressed in the scene where Angela tries to nicely confront Phyllis by pleading for her to not make her prep the table, but she is met with Phyllis's justification that last year Angela treated her the same way. Phyllis is vengefully trying to punish Angela for last year and is also holding a secret over her. However, Chapter 5 notes that no matter the situation, revenge or not, incivility is not acceptable. Although Angela feels at this moment that Phyllis has justification for bullying her, the textbook would argue that there is no justification for bullying or consistently acting uncivil. The final stage of the theory of reframing your thinking is exemplified when Angela comes to the realization that she does not deserve the treatment Phyllis is presenting her and stands up for herself. In this scene, Angela confronts and challenges Phyllis by refusing to bring the Christmas tree inside, and Angela exposes that she has been seeing another coworker. This portrays the resolution of the theory, because Angela knows that she does not deserve the cruel treatment she has been dealt regardless of Phyllis being in charge and blackmailing her with the secret. This again exemplifies Pearson and Anderson's point that there is no justification for incivility, and furthermore, that once you recognize this fact, it's clear that anybody who acts rudely or abusively is at fault for behaving badly. It has become clear to Angela, finally, that Phyllis is in the wrong for treating her badly, regardless of how she handled the Christmas party the year prior. Angela has resolved the issue in the workplace by taking a step back and realizing that unfair treatment or delegation is unacceptable in any situation, and has even reflected on her own unfair actions in the past year when she treated Phyllis poorly, which Chapter 5 recognizes as a step where you may feel less like a victim if you recognize the ways you have contributed to the painful communication pattern.
When dealing with difficult people and situations, it is important to recognize the aspects of incivility, bullying, ways to reframe your thinking, and how they all correspond to each other. When in a workplace situation, the difficulty usually begins with seemingly mild incivility caused by stress factors, but if left unaddressed, could easily progress to a harsher form of disrespect like bullying. There are several strategies to resolve this kind of conflict, one of which is to reframe your thinking, which allows you to take on a new perception of the encounter and realize that you do not deserve the abuse you are receiving. This is the first step in making a change to an unhealthy work environment. Bullying is very common in the workplace. It is intentional and can severely impact employee relationship and work efficacy. In the office, the cause of bullying was because of personal issues between Angela and Phyllis. Thus, they did not have a good relationship. This bullying could have been avoided with communication and negotiation. However, if the bully does not give a chance for negotiation, we could use the strategy of appealing to a third party. Do not directly fight against the offender because the outcome is risky and unpredictable, like how Phyllis revealed Angela's secret to her coworkers. Instead, a third person could get into the situation and help them solve the problem. Incivility can be applied to our daily life in terms of passive-aggressive comments or actions that we may encounter. It is often overlooked because offense might not always be the intent, but as Chapter 5 of Communicating Our Work reminds us, incivility largely depends on how the receiver responds to the action. The interpretation of the action should be taken into account in order to create a respectful communication climate. When you face bullying or become offended, the first thing you want to do is control your mood. Try to conceal your anger and negotiate with the bully first. If you still cannot resolve it, you could find someone in between you and the offender and let them talk and try to conduct an effective resolution. There are multiple ways of dealing with difficult situations, one being to reframe your thinking, which could be easily applied to our daily lives. In a frustrating situation, one way to cope is to take a step back and reframe your outlook on the situation. The first step to making a positive change in an otherwise unhealthy communication environment is to recognize your role. Once you recognize that any form of aggressive behavior is inappropriate, you may take the next step in a form of confrontation to resolve the issue instead of letting it continue to cause difficulty in your life. From our analysis, others might hopefully learn how to recognize the various forms of incivility and bullying in the workplace and come to understand the method of reframing your thinking in order to resolve conflicts effectively and efficiently. Thanks for watching!